Yo, yo, yo. What's up? What up, Chuck? Spot, Sade, Nova, Mike, Matt, Ben. All in on AMC. What is up, man? Louis, Aldo, Don with the turtles. Ileana, Ben. What is up? Stream Elements. Thank you, bot. What's up, baby? C-Fats. What's good, man? What's good? Why you barcoding, bro? Nah, barcoding is good sometimes. It really is. Especially when you're priming up, man, suppressing that volume, getting ready for that next leg up, which is basically what we got going on here. We got an Elliott wave pattern. This is our projector. This is a projector pattern developing right now. I'm going to show you guys a couple of patterns that I'm currently tracking. Are looking pretty good for the coming days. I know it's been a dry week, but that's typically how this works. All right, make sure you guys are liking that button. As soon as you come in here, slap the shit out of it. All right, get some more peeps in here, party it up, rally with the family. We got 51 in here and 8 likes. What is this? What is this, bro? All right, we're taking a break from that the space background. All right, we got the blueprints on now. We're tracking the blueprints. All right, we got 2 charts here. I'm gonna go over both. I'm gonna start with AMC Cycle and kind of go around. I have to give me a sec. I have to post this on Discord here. Let everybody know we're on. We're live. We're doing it. There we go. Look at that. 22 likes. I like the ratio. That's a better ratio. All right. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so we are about to enter the point of interest next week. All right, so we have not entered it yet, so I wouldn't be expecting anything right now because we have not entered the point of interest yet. So this is just starting up, leading up to the point of interest, which is good. So we still have 2 days for the volatility to really start kicking in. And then I'm going to talk about the setup, why I think we're going to start coming back up. So right now, I'm tracking. So I'm tracking a pattern here that I think looks extremely similar. There's 2 actually, based on the development that we've seen so far. So as I've stated before, the run that we're having here, this pattern that we're developing, could have turned into many things. Like we could have started to climb back up, here last week, going into the 20th. But AMC is making this shorter term arc pattern here. You guys know how it works. You go back up, you got that volatility zone, and then it's followed by a triple top setup that comes down, right? Or a double top setup that either goes up or goes down. Like, there's the point of interest is at the end, and that's exactly what's happening right here. For those of you that don't know what a point of interest is, it's just a volatility zone in the market that is found by narrowing down the different possibilities, endless possibilities, really, with doing research on, or your due diligence, right? You're supposed to do in the market with other stocks in the market, other sectors, and then doing a cycle analysis on that. So you narrow it down to basically a range. It's a good couple of days where basically some kind of volatility event would take place, and that's really all it is. There's a lot that goes into it, but here we definitely have one coming up. We have a macro point of interest coming up, and I'm going to show you guys the patterns here. We have two. So we're going to pull up. What up, Alf? How you doing, man? All right, so there's two patterns I'm tracking right now. We're going to go to HLBZ. I talked about this stock the other day, and right after we had this rally, this first rally, this thing went up over 100%. So this is one that we were tracking here for a little while, following the spike last 2 days, and we have a nice rally. Now I'm going to talk about why I think this is what AMC is currently replicating, is currently doing. So we're actually on this, currently down here. Okay, I'm going to take this entire pattern and show you guys where we are in this sequence. All right. We are right. Actually, hold up. We gotta show you guys where we're at. Where we at right here. This is what it is. I already had this pattern on. I just want to pull it up and show you why I think we're doing this. Because it literally looks the same. That's why, bro. There it is. Okay. TN, how many patterns are we going to track? Dude, we're going to track every pattern in the market until we find the right pattern, all right? That's the whole point, man. Pattern analysis is patterns change. They change every single day, but you know, that's technical analysis too. Technical analysis, what you're trying to do at the end of the day is you're trying to find breakout points in the market or for entry positions, but the thing about pattern analysis is that it makes that job like 50 times easier because patterns repeat themselves over and over and over again. So this is just a cheat sheet right here. I mean, we're finding the same fib levels, the right fib levels for a stock that's already has high volatility. So this is a perfect reference stock to track compared to AMC because it is a high volatility stock. So it's valid. It's valid. It's fun. And yeah, look at that. Those levels are hitting right. This is telling me right here that this is a potential entry position here because it's considered a level of support. It is a level of support, and it could start to climb back up. And this is just one pattern. I don't think it's the most accurate one. I'm going to talk about the second one because this one goes with the analysis that we have already been doing. Metamaterials is one of the stocks here that we are tracking because it had a very similar setup to AMC way back here prior to that reverse split they did where we saw that massive rally. I posted a video on this. We had Wes Christian basically go over this stock and tell us that one of the ways they fought shorts here was to create the preferred shares, which basically was, since they were a private equity, they were able to force these shorts to cover, and that's what triggered this massive squeeze here on metamaterials. So very similar setup we have going on right now. I think we're probably somewhere back here in that in the events that we're currently doing right now, with especially with Ape. We don't really have the catalyst yet on whether we're going to have the reverse split or not. So we need more information on that before we get to this part. But I think we're headed in the right direction. So that's what matters, is that we're headed the right direction. Anyways, let's pull up that pattern because we're not there. We're back here somewhere. All right, so we are on this very similar. One of the things I tracked for this HBL's breakout was actually metamaterials. I actually tracked this pattern right here that you're looking at. if I compare the two, they're almost uncanny, bro. They're the same. So we're going to track this one as well because, I mean, if they're both similar, you got to track them both. This one is more accurate, way more accurate. Watch. Watch, my guy, watch. We're going to have to go on the 2 hour for this. Zoom out. Actually, we're going to go on the daily chart. Yeah. So, the thing about this setup here, why I like it, this is one as well. Now, the levels here are not hitting the same way, but that's okay because this right here, this massive volume on metamaterials, you can see it was meant to be a projector as well, but it clocked over. They went way ahead on their target here, and then they quickly shorted it back down into back into cycle formation, right? Going back in the cycle. So this setup is also accurate, and I'm going to show you why I like this setup, why this is the setup that we're probably going to do. And it sort of backs this up here. And this is Elliott wave, by the way. I'm going to get to that point on the third part here. I know I go all over the place, but it's going to make sense. All right, it's going to make sense. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, cycle, right? Here is a cycle. So we're going to take this pattern right here. Way back here. This is where we are. This is where I think we are, all right? We're going to take this cycle, and we're going to take basically 2 cycles. Or actually, no, we're going to take this cycle, and we're going to take the start, so the point of interest here. We're going to take it up to this point. So it bleeds on over to the next cycle. So the timing here is very important. If they match, they match, right? Then it's good. It's valid. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take it from the start of the cycle, so November 25th at 3, and we're going to leave it there. Now this is where it gets interesting. We pull up that same pattern that we saw way back here, and what do we have, right? We have a match. Let's bring it on over here. Okay. Now I want you guys to look at this. You see that? Do you see that? Right here. What is this? This is Elliott wave right here. It's Elliott wave because this is 1. 3 is the largest run normally, and here you can see we had the same situation on AMC. You had that clock over, it comes back in to the cycle, creates this arc pattern. Same thing. Comes back down, Elliott wave 3 being the largest one, comes back down, and then you have your 5. And then 5 is followed by an ABC correction, which typically stalls for a little bit, trades sideways for a little bit. So this is why I think we're going to do this. We're going to do this not only because the pattern here is the same, but because on the cycle, we have a previous cycle that matches to a T exactly on the same cycle dates. So this is not, again, it's not a coincidence. It's on the cycle. We are tracking the cycle here. And it's AMC's previous cycle. So here you can see that we have about a 1-day shift. It's about a 1-day shift, which is completely normal on the cycle. You find these all the time. And here it's also calling for upside. Again, with metamaterials, we have the same setup. Bring it up here. Right here. metamaterials right there. Levels are similar. And right here, metamaterials does last a little bit longer on the cycle, but overall, the structure of the pattern in the beginning is the same. So that's why I like it. And it's Elliott wave. That's why it's important, right? We have our little Elliott wave, our little Elliott impulse wave, 1, 2, coming up to this $11, $12 range. You're gonna get a wick that's gonna go up there, and then coming back down, and then you have your 5. Now, I'm not gonna pay attention to this fall that we have back down here on AMC because that's not relevant. Once you start to actually play out that first sequence, which is clearly an impulse wave, Elliott impulse wave pattern, it does normally complete, and it turns into something else. And this is where we have to zoom out because this is the macro chart that we have on AMC that we've been looking at, and it's pretty straightforward. I mean, we have ourselves the impulse wave, and then we have this wedge, descending wedge here, right? This macro descending wedge. So once you have this setup, and this is the setup we talked about in the last video, part 2. Part 2 talks about or part 3, I think, talks about the TA setup, right? It talks about the technical analysis, what we have going on AMC, and we know that right now there are 2 trend lines that are very important. We have our resistance trend line, which also happens to intersect with this descending wedge. Okay, so they both intersect right here at that $11 range. Okay, so that's what makes this even like a more valid projection here, because not only do we have, we have potential Elliott wave formation, we also have this lining up with the cycle to a T, not only on the macro point of interest that we're tracking, right, the cycle, but the previous cycle that we're tracking back here happens to also align with the current pattern that we're forming. So that's another thing to track. We have other patterns backing this up. The crypto market is also starting to turn around. SPY just fucking hit 402. Like, I mean, dude, everything is looking awesome. I've been telling the Discord here as well. We've been following this parallel channel on the way up. I still don't think we're gonna climb back up. We're already crossing resistance as we speak. So this is something that we've been projecting here for a while, and it's it's clear, bro. It's crossed. This is gonna probably go to the 405 first, and like I said, it's gonna trade sideways before we come down and test resistance again. There's no signs of rejection here on SPY. There is no other way to look at this. That is a clear break already on SPY. Even if it got rejected here in the next couple of days, it's very likely that this is going to have a run to the upside to at least 405, and then potentially 410 next. And then there is where it's going to trade sideways. Some of the patterns we were tracking for SPY that have played out from this bottom here. We tracked the blue pattern on AMC that was calling for upside. We've also been tracking a couple of different patterns on the short term. This is one of the ones that I'm tracking that is actually a pattern that is bearish in the short term, but it's bullish in the short term, but bearish in the mid to long term. It's one I'm tracking, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm tracking many other patterns. This is another one. These are all found through the pattern scanner, and they have all been playing out. I mean, if I overlay them together and you zoom in on on the structure of this pattern, you can see that it's been following it to a T. All of them actually call for upside first, and then they all have a correlation here, at least together, telling me that somewhere around this range between 405 and 415, that is where SPY is probably going to gravitate to by mid-February. So there's a lot of correlation here with that, and that's a strong correlation that we're probably going to keep going up until the 15th so mid-February. And why that's good? Why is that good, bro? Why is it good that SPY goes up? Because what is February 15th or 16th? That, my friends, is the peak of the infamous cycle. And what happens at the peak? Well, on a point of interest, the peak is normally an indicator that the market is going to come down. All right, how many times have we seen this happen before, right? Okay, on the point of interest, which is only, it typically is about a 10-day window every 2 months. A 10-day window every 2 months is normally when we see AMC go up, and then at the peak, we know that volatility stocks, so meme stocks, tend to go last when SPY has already rallied. So that they are that confirmation, that basically the last thing we need to know that the market is going to at least have some kind of breather in the short term, or actually continue to dump to the downside. And we've seen this happen every single time on AMC. So, it's a clear correlation here. And that happens to be the 16th, which also lines up with all the fractals that we're looking at right now with SPY. What up, Tickles? Jojo, what is up, man? Thank you. My man. Look at that. SPY just hit 403 and going. Gotta love SPY, man. SPY is the reason why we're able to, it's the second main equity security that I track in the market. So apart from specializing on AMC, SPY is next on the list. If not more important, because it does help track not only AMC but really the entire market. But I guess AMC is that breakthrough stock that has helped really track the entire market with cycles. So really, really, really cool stuff. All right, let's pull up Amy. Let's go intraday. All right, so we're going to pull up our little pattern scanner, do some pattern scanning for the day on AMC. Yeah, we'll talk about Ape too, man. We'll talk about Ape. All right, we got our little pattern scanner. We got AMC, and let's see what we got going on here, bro. Let's go on the daily chart, actually. Daily chart. Whoa there. What the hell is this? What the fuck? Well, whoa. Hold up a sec, dude. We got two different stocks right now calling for like a freaking major push here. Now, To be fair though, these are not. These are the levels are accurate. They are the pattern scanner here is tracking levels more than anything. Anything in between, you are gonna see. Not every stock in the market is gonna have an exact replica of a pattern. But here we're definitely looking at some kind of correlation. Here we have GOBY. So this is scan 2020 11/16 through August 4th of 2021. So I want to pull up this pattern because, well, it's calling for some kind of matches, at least from what I can see back here. It's very similar on that part of it. So let's go ahead and pull it up here. GOBY. GOBY, man. What? All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, for some reason, I don't have all the data here for GOBY. Why not? Is it because I'm not on the daily chart? Oh, that's why. See, but that's the thing. It becomes a little bit like sketchy to track some of these, at least with very little volume. Obviously, the pattern scanner is gonna it's gonna scan a lot of different stocks, and some of these stocks that don't have enough volume, you do have to look at them and be like, all right, well, if there's not enough volume, should I be tracking the stock? That sort of thing. I'm curious though. I'm curious to see what this is gonna pull up. So. And like they said, go on the daily, bro. All right, where is it scanning it from, though? From the start, it's the 12th of May. Well, yeah, I don't think that's right. There we go. So for some reason, it was scanning this. This is what it was scanning, but again, when you pull up the daily chart, yeah, no. So I don't want to use this one, and this is the thing. So the source at which this is taking stock data from is not the same as TradingView. So this exchange clearly is showing us very little bit going on here. So that pattern is not going to be accurate on TradingView. And that's why you have to look at just a pattern scanner and see what it's scanning for. But there was another stock it was tracking, RKLY, and it was actually, it's weird because it's tracking it around the same time. RKLY. RKLY, yeah. See, some of these aren't even showing up on here. Yeah, dude, the fuck? It doesn't even show up on here. All right, let's keep tracking. Let's keep tracking, man. That's what we're here for. We're here to track Amy. We're here for more confirmation. Not confirmation bias, but confirmation on what the analysis we're doing. This is just it's the cherry on top. Pattern scanner, that's all it is. It's just giving us more confirmation that, this pattern played out this way in the past. Patterns repeat themselves. And by the way, for those that are curious about this, so the thing about this is why I really like this tool is these dates, this is not a fractal it's scanning. If it was a fractal, you could be maybe a little bit more skeptical about the pattern, but these are the same date ranges. So it's the same window size, meaning that if I'm scanning the daily chart at 180, it means that it's taking 180 days in the market, which turns to be potentially about a year, actually, because it's just taking 180 data points, so it doesn't include weekends or anything. So this is about a year of data, and it's unchanged, right? So we're taking the exact same time frame on another stock, and just really overlaying it on top, seeing it, if there's a match, if there's correlation between the two. So a lot of these are definitely calling for upside here in the short term, so I like that. Let's go on the 90 and see if there's anything else. So look at this. SCPL. This one we've been tracking. We've been tracking this one. We tracked it last week, and it's tracking. It keeps spitting this pattern out because it likes it. Now it moved to number 1. It used to be number 3. Now it's the highest correlation. These are new. I haven't seen these. JNPR is also calling for upside. FTS, DRI, MCP. All of these are basically calling for at least sideways trading or upside. Most are calling for upside, though. Upside, 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 and this one sideways, and then it comes down. So, and it has the least correlation. Remember, strength is the most important. Right now, JNPR actually has the highest correlation on this chart. Let's do the 1 hour. Curious on this 9. When did this happen? Happened this year. Okay, let's look at SPY. Let's see what SPY's got for us. There it is, WTFC again. Yeah, it honestly just it looks like WTFC has been spot on since we were tracking down here. So it's been about 2 weeks now. All right, let's give this a break for now. If you guys have any stocks you want me to scan, let me know. I'll scan them. Yeah, let's do an update on Nikola, because Nikola is one I talked about previously on that video. I'm very bullish on Nikola. I'm actually gonna show you guys one pattern I'm currently tracking. It's this one. It got moved because TradingView moving my shit. But here it is. So it's a quadruple bottom. Quadruple top, you want to call it quadruple top, and we already crossed resistance, so we went over that. We talked about how these curves that we have here on Nikola, this is the flip chart. The first time we crossed it was last week. Okay, so it's the first time that we have not only so we've established the bottom, which we had in December, and then going into January we had a higher low. We're starting to get higher lows now, which is good. That means that there is some kind of even though these are they keep shaking them off, like this isn't fully just exploding to the upside. I think it's developing that pressure first. And yes, we're down today. We're down 6.5%, but still this is still looking pretty good to me. Again, there's a lot of volatility on this stock, so we're still respecting support. I think Nikola is looking great. This is one of the patterns I've been tracking for a little bit. This is another one. This one looks pretty dope to me as well. It is very similar setup, calling for some upside in the shorter term, potentially mid February time. And here are some of the curve lines of resistance. So just so you guys can see a little bit more clearly here on what's happening, this is the cross that we have, right? There it is. Yeah, Lucid's another one. Lucid's another one that that I'm currently in right now. And Lucid looks amazing, man. From this bottom, We have ways to go on Lucid. Lucid has been overly shorted. Actually, and it's weird because so we do. I hope that okay. Yeah, you guys can see this. So Lucid, I actually think is tracking, or there's a crypto right now that I'm tracking that looks stupid similar to Lucid, and it has me a little bit skeptical about the crypto market because of how accurate this is. Like, it's very accurate, and it's scary how accurate it is. But I think there's a possibility that it gave up because it started to derive from this pattern right around this range. I'm going to show you guys what it is. Litecoin, so LTC, and we're going to go on which one has the most data? LTC USD. Yeah, Bitstamp. There it is. All right, bro. This is fucking Lucid, man. Look at this. All right, if you don't think pattern analysis is real, or like if you don't think patterns repeat themselves, like I'm just gonna keep showing you accurate matches that I find because this shit is just, it's ridiculous at this point how accurate pattern analysis is. It's just, it really is ridiculous. Look at this. So this is Lucid overlaid on Litecoin over the past almost 6 years. And yes, look, up to this point, you could say everything here is basically accurate. You even have your little projector down here, right? Projector pattern comes up. Structure of this pattern is the same. Now here is where we start straying away from the pattern. This is why I'm a little bit skeptical about the rest here because two reasons. It doesn't make sense that, Litecoin goes down to negative $95 at all. So that should also tell you something, is that this is potentially at that low. You're starting to see some gaps develop, and there's no signs that crypto is turning at this point, right? So any cross we get on crypto, if this starts to go back up, and that's also an indicator that this point of interest that we have tracking here is also inverse. What that means is it's literally playing out inverse, like this is actually going up. And then at that point, well, you are tracking something else once that point of interest is done. So yeah, when we're tracking here, man, Litecoin on this, but yeah, back to Lucid, right? Because Lucid is, I mean, just look at that, dude. Looks crazy. Freaking. I've been trying to figure out too, like what else we can take from this at least, because there's a lot of different patterns that look similar to Lucid right now. The further you zoom out, I mean, we have Coinbase we can track. We have Mara. A lot of these are tracking on similar cycles to Lucid. So yeah, Lucid is primed for a push. I think we're gonna see I think we're gonna see at least the $15 level in the next month on Lucid. Oh yeah, I've seen, dude, their cars are dope. And you have to remember now that, the EV sector is it's expanding a lot. Tesla reminds me of Netflix. It's, they start off really taking over, monopolizing the EV sector, and then now you have all these other cars that are jumping in the game. So there's more options for people. And I think that's going to affect Tesla at the end of the day. I mean, Tesla is going to do its thing, but it's the same thing, man. Like, Netflix started off leading, right, its competitors, and then you had Disney, Apple, Amazon. Everybody jumped in. So same thing, man. I think Lucid is one of those. I think Lucid, Neo, maybe Mullen. Mullen is starting to also pick back up. There's a couple of different things to track on Mullen. Hey guys, here's another pattern. Look, this is AMC. Isn't that crazy? Do you believe in pattern analysis? Bro, it's just crazy at this point. I mean, look, right there. Bro, this is fucking crazy, dude. Oh, man. Okay, we are respecting our nice blue spot here on the daily chart. Still good. Looks like we're coming back down to maybe retest that pink curve. And we had this blue spot down here. Remember, the sequence is the same. It's just at this point of interest, it is extended a little bit. The price that we're dealing with is 5 times greater than it was back here. The larger the price on this chart, especially if this is not an all-time low. It's we're trading at the $6 range, so it's a lot bigger than what we had back here in January. So obviously patterns are gonna be a little bit more extended when and this is not a this happens like, dude, with stocks that have greater market caps, because it's a little bit harder to push that volatility in. There's going to be a lot more people involved on the stock if it's trading at $1 versus 5. I mean, sure, 5 is cheap, but it's not cheaper than 1. So this is just, it in basic terms, it doesn't change the volatility zone, but it does change how drastic this push is going to be. That's why I'm not expecting this push to take us to, on this volatility zone, I'm not expecting it to take us, to crazy levels. I'm expecting us to climb back up and hit an important level of resistance first. Then we trade sideways. Then we go back up again on the next point of interest. This is a short-term rally. It's going to be a good one. It should be. But like I said, you gotta look at the fractal, at the pattern, and follow the structure of that pattern based on its time frame, on its time window. It's limited, and there's only so much you can do within that window. So that's what we're calling for right now. That's what it's looking to be, right around that $11, $12 range, if it is a positive point of interest. Okay. All right, let's do some scanning, man. Throw in some stocks. If you guys want access to the pattern scanner, it's updated every single day. It's on beta trial right now, so the software is not out yet. But if you want access to the beta, click the link below. It'll take you to the Discord, Patreon, all that good stuff, and you can access it. It is the newest addition to it, so constantly adding stuff on there, man. And no, I don't have the entire market in there. There's about 1,500 stocks. All right, we can do BlackBerry. Yeah, let's do BlackBerry. And the reason I'm asking you guys for stocks as well is some dude the other day brought up Carvana, and I didn't like I didn't even realize how freaking oversold Carvana was until this guy brought it up. And I looked it up on the pattern scanner, and it had a pretty major point of interest to track. So I was pretty excited about that. So I appreciate your guys' input in the market. Helps. Wizard of Wall Street. It's not. Crypto is not on here yet. It used to be. We had crypto on here, but right now, since we're limiting it to only stocks at the moment, it's for the beta. Once the software actually comes out, it will have crypto. Yes, it will have crypto. And with crypto, man, the scanner is game changer basically, because we know there's a lot of cryptos that they're used as leverage, so it even helps you find patterns. I've found different patterns with Ethereum Classic on AMC before using the crypto scanner. So yes, it will be available. All right, so BlackBerry, we have SBRA. Seems to be the closest match right now on the daily. We got the 90 window here. Look at that. JNPR and SBRA on different window sizes are spitting something very similar. They're spitting some upside here. It seems to be end of January, so like almost on Monday or something. You could potentially see some more upside. Now that is one pattern, so you have to look at the rest, see which ones are the most accurate. Seems to be like SK or SDK L and SBRA. These are pretty accurate. Let's see what the 1 hour. Okay, well, this one is definitely calling for downside. But not that much. I mean, this is like a breather downside. But again, you kind of have to do your own research after you find the stock. This is not forecasting something that's gonna happen. It's giving you the possibility of a potential stock in which it will follow. But there's many different options. And what I do when I find a pattern is I actually take the complete window and compare the entire window here. So if I find, for example, KB right here looks pretty good, you zoom out and you can see the structure a little bit better if you zoom out of the chart. And what I do is I look at even further on the data here. I want to see what the entire pattern looks like because I want it to track as much as possible. If it keeps tracking, then there's more correlation. This is why some of the stocks we're currently tracking right now, like SPY, NEO, these guys have a stronger correlation because there's so much data behind it, confirming making the pattern like stronger correlation because it has so much more data. So it's important to do that. Let's see, Beyond Meat. Mullen is not on here, so I can't pull that one up. I'm gonna have to add Mullen. I would love some feedback too, man. If you guys can join the Discord and give me some feedback on this, I would appreciate it. My brother does the back end, so he's the coding genius behind this. He made it from just a lot of math involved with this too. I mean, it uses correlation coefficient to basically find and then define the distance between two data points across the entire market. And then you use correlation coefficient to find the strength and basically give us the top 5. Now, this will spit out endless amount of patterns, but we're only showing the top 5 because you don't really want to go beyond that. You do want to just stick to the top 5 most accurate ones. So BYND, here are the correlations we have with it on the 180. Here's the 90. seems pretty good. Seems like we have this sort of accumulation pattern down here. Could turn into distribution if it does start coming back down. But it seems like most of these are calling for sideways trading, maybe a potential, maybe more upside in the short term. Let's look at GME. Ooh. Ooh. Damn. Okay, what is this pattern here? This pattern here would line up with the POI for sure. 38 goes to 46. What is this? TPL or TPR 2021. Is it this right here? TPR? This? Probably. November 12th. Yep. Copy that. Bring it over to GME. And you know what's crazy? This is another pattern we were tracking on GME. Look at that. This is literally another pattern. Oh, wow. Look at that, dude. We tracked this 2 days ago. And look at it follow through, man. From here, we tracked it from the top, and now it's coming down. Could potentially come down to 17. So watch out for that for GME. And this is never financial advice, my guy. Never. All right, where are we scanning this from, though? Because okay, the 12th. Where? Oh, that's why. Okay, I took too much data. That's why. Bro, these are the same. The fuck? They're the same. I mean, they're pretty much the same, except I took too much data here. I took this data point here, shouldn't be there. But they're both calling for potential upside here. They do track on, look at that, February, mid-February, which is the POI. Okay. It does have to do a lot with SPY. You're right. And, you know, that's why we track it, man. We track the SPY here, too. Let's see how this candle closes today. Interesting. But I think just based on the current events, I mean, this is like the 5th time we try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can maybe consider it 6, but because we did get rejected here, but now this would be like our 6th time trying to cross resistance. So clearly, somebody's trying to break this, right? Like somebody's trying to break this. If we do, I think that we're gonna come up. Why I think we're gonna come down to 4. like 405 or even 410 before a short-term relief rally to the upside, which is, or to the downside, which is upside here on the flip chart, is because that is a double bottom in the short term. So double bottom, you could call it a double top. And then here, you probably do something like that before getting more upside and then even going up to 430. I mean, guys, flip the chart, man. Flip the chart sometimes, all right? Gives you a better perspective if you're somebody who shorts the market. I don't like, right now at least, I wouldn't be doing that just because why? I mean, like, sure, you're at a level of resistance, but at some point, that level, that's one of the things I don't understand sometimes. I'm like, bro, like, okay, yeah, like, we're at a level of resistance, but you do know that when you cross those levels, I mean, you're headed to new level. I mean, that's the whole point of resistance levels is you're going to cross them at some point. You're going to cross support levels at some point too. So just because we're at a resistance level doesn't mean we're going to come down. Oh, I really actually I like copycat SPY a lot. I'm gonna pull up the patterns that I was just tracking and see how it looks on this. Okay, well, first of all, this is why I like copycat, man, because copycat will line up a lot of the POIs here line up perfectly with the copycat projection because that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to scan the stock and then find these points based on time and give us that either rally or dump projected here. So it does a pretty good job with that. Yeah, and Lucid's bouncing back, which is good. I mean, we're looking for a... That's not a good projection. I don't like that one. Yeah, we definitely need some AMC news, though. We need to know what's up, man. We need to know, like, we need some decisions made. Because we need this. I'm telling you, man, once we figure out if the reverse split is happening, it's going to be a lot easier based on everything we talked about with the correlation between metamaterials and what used to be support.com. Both stocks had a very similar setup, and they had recently brought this up when the whole GNS and CEO had talked to Wes Christian. They brought it up, so basically confirming what we had talked about here about why AMC would do something like that, why the chart would behave that way. And that was kind of the confirmation we needed here. So Lucid here is looking like wants to break out of this rising flag looking setup. It is respecting support very well here, so we could see a cross. Could be a fake out and then come down, sideways trading. I think overall, though, Lucid is setting up to continue this rally going into next week. It does have earnings February, so I think we're going to see some kind of volatility beforehand. I like this move. Okay, we got very close here at crossing this. I'm going to show you guys where this happened recently. It happened with Tesla. Except with Tesla, you got to flip the chart. All right, guys, ready? Where did this happen? Where did it happen here? Well, there's a couple of ways you can track this. So here is our first candidate. It's right here. Okay, the fake out here would have happened right around this range. It comes down. You can see this would be our short-term inverse point of interest. It comes back into cycle, and here's actually where those levels are hit. So if I take this pattern here, it would look almost identical, except that gap that we're talking about here. So let's do it. Let's take it. A lot of what I say makes no sense because it's, like I said, man, cycle analysis is not something that is really out there. I think it's a different approach, and if you want to learn more about it, I go over all this stuff on the Discord every single day. I go live on the streams and talk about it there. But this is the setup I'm talking about, which is the fake out. And there's many ways you can track this, but the fake out is happening right here. And this is why it's important to track it this way. So here we have the gap I'm talking about, and here we have the other gap. But these two are canceling each other out because they're playing out at different events in the same sequence, which is normal. It's just the way patterns are structured, and they work sometimes when hedge funds and market makers are trying to sync this back into, so basically shock it back into cycle. This happens, right? This goes up. Here they shocked it back into cycle. It comes back into the same levels. Same thing right here. And now we have a pattern projecting some upside here. Now, that is one way you can look at this. You can also look at it from a flip in this, but this pattern would be projecting the downside, which if I do flip this chart, it would show us more downside, which is also a possibility. This would be considered a inverse point of interest, which you can clearly see here as well playing out. But most of the time, if the stock is at a bottom and you take everything else into account, like the option chain, sector rotation right now, which Lucid normally tends to go after crypto, and that's why we're starting to see this volume kicking in. So I'm pretty bullish on that. I think we're going to sink back into cycle here and start climbing back up in the coming weeks. And I think, well, just based on these levels, it would be calling for the somewhere around that 1250 range, which is considered also resistance. We have a bottom here, and then we have a top here. Now this would be considered like an actual level, I think, of resistance first. But if we kind of take everything into, well, first of all, we cross this trend line here. This is another level here. Look at that. There we go. So here is our secondary level of resistance. You can clearly see that based on some of these levels. This would be our first, which we just crossed, and then our second level is going to be right there. So you're seeing it at 1250. Anything above that, and we would probably come up to I would say a pretty large zone here of where the price can go, but anywhere between that $15 and maybe $20 range would be the next levels to track. Also on volume profile, you can kind of see this on where the point of control is, but there's clearly some kind of resistance here. There's a lot of volume they would have to pass through. Normally, where you see a stop is where the end of, so for example here, if we did come up to this level, you would probably see some kind of resistance prior to it. and right below it enters that zone. When you enter that zone, you normally do trade sideways for quite some time at point of control. It's like it slows you down on the way up, right? Because there's just so much volume being traded. So normally where you see a pretty drastic rally is where there's no volume at all, which is currently happening down here. So momentum dries down. There's really no more volume, so it's a lot easier to rally the stock here than it is where there is volume. Okay. Matt, thank you, man. Thank you. Okay, so as far as AMC goes, for those that are just coming in, there's a couple of different patterns we're tracking, but basically we're in sync with the cycle. We're still tracking the cycle, and right now it looks like we're somewhere in between the March cycle, which is right here. And this also syncs up with the 62-day cycle. So this is just a previous cycle that's happened on AMC, which also is lining up and telling us that we could potentially be here. This is just a projector pattern. And it's also considered Elliott Wave 1, followed by 3 and then 5. At this point, I would just see a continuation here. I don't see us completely stopping. Now we can if we go up early February. So if say that we peak on the 6th or something, let's say we go up on the 6th and that's where we peak, then I would be considering some kind of resistance there because this pattern is also telling us that. And then at that point, this wouldn't necessarily be considered Elliott wave unless we did, 3 and then 5 and then just came down like that, right? That can also happen. So either way you want to look at it, I think in the short term, it's looking like we're going to see some upside. 2-hour chart looks pretty good on spots. We did have a short cross here, but we are riding that pink curve back up. And normally with these shorter curves, you do see some upside. So it's looking pretty good. Oh, dude, I was going to... I don't know if I still have this here. If I was doing this yesterday. Okay, so we have 3 indicators here that I made for cycle analysis, and there's one is called copy pat. It projects a pattern based on historical data. There's one called spots, which is the one you're currently looking at. It's very simple. You have a smoother filter curve, and then there's a specific parameter we track here in the cycle. And as soon as we have that blue spot or pink spot, it normally indicates a reversal in the market to either direction. So here we're using spots, and I want to show you guys on the daily for Nikola why I'm bullish for this next turn. So I took, based on the blue patterns we have gotten here on Nikola. Now there's 2 that do not count because of saturation. In any indicator that you use, there are certain values that you don't want to input on your charts. For example, this right here quickly gets rejected by a pink circle. So this would not count because it's so short together. Anything that's close together by, it's considered a saturation, so I don't count for those things. So that's one there that I'm not tracking, obviously, but the rest are very accurate. Like all of the blue spots that we've seen, why I really like this indicator. So all the blue spots that we have seen have grossed in a large amount of return here. So we have a 750% return on the first blue spot. The second one, 35, 77, 54, 69, 59, 51, 80, and then we have ourselves a blue spot, right, on the daily chart. So you don't get these spots very often on the daily chart. There's a lot more resistance and it's harder. So that's why I considered the further you zoom out, the stronger the push is going to be. So we have a blue spot. We just got it about a week ago. And yeah, man, I mean, so far from this blue spot, okay, we're not up that much. We're about, 12%. But if we take the average of everything here, we add everything up and we get like the mean, I would say at least we would be expecting a 50% push to the upside, at least. And that's close to that $4 range. But because we are where we're at, and because Nikola has been highly shorted for a long time, like over 3 years, it's likely that once we cross one level of resistance, we're going to cross the next and the next and the next. This is potentially a shift here in Nikola's direction for the better. There was some bullish news that came out yesterday as well. They're potentially ready to start releasing some of their EVs and actually selling them. They focus a lot on trucks. I think that's their forte. That's where they're stronger at, I think, focusing on the trucks here. So there was some news that came out. Obviously, the market didn't react well to that, but that's typically how it works with stocks. I mean, Mara being another example of this. Why, I don't pay attention to the media in that way, and I hate when there's any kind of bullish catalyst or bearish. Normally, if it's a stock that is highly known in the community, it just won't go your way. Mara had a $5 price target right here. And we still call this move, but it had a $5 price target. I don't know if it was Morgan Stanley or what institution had released this, but they released it down here. And then you have it going to $10. So it went up 200% from the bottom. So they're going to do that kind of stuff. Lucid just had one recently, yesterday. And you still saw it climb and potentially will keep climbing. So, yeah, that's why the media, man, will sometimes just get you like that. Pretty bogus. All right, guys. If you do want to become a little Discord buddy in the chat and chill with the squad, here's a little link for you guys to join up. It's free, so get up in there and chat it up with the squad. There's some dope individuals in there, and it's fun. So chill it up, man. Chill it up with the squad, and people talk about cycle analysis in there and trade ideas and stuff, and it's a good community. So if you guys want to join up, there's a link. If you want to check out the other side of things, as far as the indicators, the pattern scanner that I just showed, everything else as far as that, and that will be on the Patreon. Still running a holiday promotion thing on there. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you click that link. That gives you everything else. Did Adam Aaron just tweet something? Did I miss out on something that he tweeted? Let's go ahead and read it up. What did my guy Adam tweet? What is he tweeting? What is he tweeting now, Adam? What are you tweeting, bro? I spelled his name wrong. Oh, that was the 8K that they released yesterday, which, yeah, you see a lot of these come out before some kind of catalyst. I have seen a correlation with that. A lot of different filings happen before some kind of catalyst. So, I think we're headed the right way direction. However you want to take this catalyst, because a lot of catalysts in the short term won't really do anything to the price action, but I think it's a step in the right direction. So. Okay, okay, okay. Guys, I am going to be updating some things on the Discord right now. We'll be potentially posting a part 3 later today, if not tomorrow, to update everything else on AMC. I want to see how it closes. And I'll go more in depth on what my thoughts are as far as what I stated today. But right now, things are looking good. Again, we don't have a major break to the downside or anything. We're still respecting support. We're following a lot of the different fractals that we been looking at. Elliott Wave. So there's a lot on the good side here to track for AMC. And that's what we do. We just keep updating it, right? We updating it as things happen, as things play out. We'll keep doing it that way. If you have any questions or anything, make sure you can send me a message on Twitter. You can send me a message on Discord. You can send me a message anywhere, and I'll try my best to get back to you. If not, answer your question on stream. I do that a lot for everything. All the questions that I normally get, I will answer on stream. I think it's a little bit more appropriate like that, and it'll basically answer your question more in depth as well. Don't want to just tweet something out or answer your question on Messenger, because it's can sometimes be misinterpreted. So don't want to do that. But yeah, check that out, and I will see you guys on the next stream. All right. Bye bye.